Creating the ultimate character in Dragon Ball is incredibly hard. You have to be stronger than the universe-shaking Goku, the mortal who surpassed the gods themselves, Jiren, and even the evil galactic emperor Frieza. But we can do better, I think. The guy I'm thinking about has literal unlimited power, strikes fear into everyone within a light year of him, and honestly, he's also just a little bit weird. In a nutshell, he is the walking nightmare, Majin Jaeger. This guy is a god of destruction in training, much like Topo from Universe 11. His rubbery skin is a nice sky blue, and he's got these piercing teal eyes and a very nice pair of pants that look comfy and kind of easy to wear, actually. And of course, for all of you Dragon Ball pun people out there, I've got you. Jaeger is of course a pun on the alcohol Jägermeister, much like every other god of destruction out there, pretty much. Now, Jaeger here is on a quest to destroy. Now, I'm sure if you've watched my other Ultimate videos, you're wondering why I chose a Majin as the base for this character, as opposed to, say, like the iconic Saiyans, androids, or maybe even Frieza's race. But as I've come to learn myself, in Dragon Ball, just about every race has seemingly infinite potential. A character like Gohan is half human, half Saiyan, and proves during the Cell games and the superhero arc that he's able to surpass even Goku and Vegeta constantly. Likewise, someone like Frieza needs to barely even train and surpasses the god level strength of the Saiyans, as shown with both his golden and black transformations alike. And of course, the androids like 17, 18, and the Gammas showed off their insane potential with their infinite energy during the Tournament of Power and superhero arcs. But what none of these other characters can actually do is absorb everyone and everything in front of them, something that the Majin can actually do. Majin Buu absorbing the Grand Kai, Gotenks, and Gohan made him a true demon during the Buu arc, for instance. His power was so broken, Toriyama and Toyotaro, the writers of Dragon Ball Super, had to write him out of the Tournament of Power because he would have broken the entire narrative. Only that, of course, today, that is my goal, to break Dragon Ball and create the literal Ultimate Warrior. So that is, of course, why Jaeger is a Majin, because he's about to single-handedly absorb the strongest fighters in the multiverse and become the strongest god of destruction. And also quickly, before some wise guy in the comments tries to tell me that Frieza is an Arcosian or Frost Demon, you're wrong, because that's not a real thing. Turns out it's not canon. You see, Arcosians are a Funimation dub term not even used to describe Frieza's race, and Frost Demon is a kind of weird term that originated apparently in Xenoverse and is from a fan project, so don't test me, we do know what we're talking about here. Alright, but back to explaining my guy Majin Jaeger here. Now, obviously there are also a few other perks to having a Majin body. Besides absorbing opponents, Jaeger here can stretch his body however he really wants to. Honestly, in a weird way, his body seems to have the properties of both rubber and gum, making it one of the most broken anime powers out there, at least according to this super creepy looking clown guy. He can also regenerate his body at will and use his wiggly antennas to stun people and turn them into really whatever he wants. And while Majin Buu normally turns people into candy because he does have a little bit of a sweet tooth, Jaeger here prefers the delicious taste of mushrooms because he's a fun guy. See what I did there? Okay. The last thing that Jaeger needs before he can begin his journey, though, is a signature move, of course. Something that can rival the Kamehameha, Final Flash, or Special Beam Cannon. Now, of course, to do this, he would actually really have to already have mastered his entire ki, or life energy. And since he's a Majin, a demonic character created by the Dark Wizards, he'll have no problem whatsoever controlling his power like Buu did as well. But as for the special attack itself, I have come up with the best option, I think. A ball-like blast that changes in size depending on if it needs to be fired off faster or more powerful. And so ranging in scale from the smallest size of Vegeta's Big Bang attack to the massive size of Cooler Supernova. And of course, I've decided to name this powerful attack the Jaeger Bonk because I just had to, the pun was right there. And with his crazy Majin powers in hand and his Jaeger bomb, our soon-to-be god of destruction is about to consume every strong fighter in the multiverse. Starting, of course, with everyone's favorite bald guys, Krillin and Tien. And right after absorbing these two, he'd gain 6 little dots on his forehead with an eyeball in the middle, representing the iconic Buddhist forehead markings of Krillin and, of course, Tien's mystical third eye. But on top of that, he'd also gain access to some of the very iconic attacks that these guys use as well. First off, he'd gain Krillin's incredible fierce destructo disc, otherwise known as the 𝗨𝗟𝗧𝗜𝗠, a concentrated attack that slices through everything Jaeger will ever wanna cut. As well as, of course, Tien's Neo Tri-Beam or Shin-Kikoho, an insane blast that uses the user's life force to produce damage output 100 times stronger than the user's regular power levels. And these two attacks are actually really essential to Jaeger's conquest, as their piercing slices and insane maximum output will help him defeat the other strong fighters he needs to absorb as well. Now technically, it also gives Jaeger a job as a police officer. Yeah, Krillin is a police officer in Dragon Ball Super, just so all of you Z only fans are on the same page here. Kind of a weird choice for a Buddhist monk, I guess, but hey, he's got bills to pay as well, I guess. And so anyways, in between training, absorbing godlike fighters, and destroying literal universes, Jaeger can now also take a break to write a few parking tickets, which honestly is what really pushes him over the edge and turns him into the real villain. Now, the good thing here is, once he has absorbed Krillin, his wife Android 18 will try to attack our god in training, and Jaeger will be able to pull a cell and absorb her as well. That rhymed for some reason. Anyways, gaining access to the infinite energy capacity that the androids have as well. You see, in Dragon Ball, the androids have a unique trait that allows them to never exhaust their energy reserves. Now, compared to other fighters like your Jirens or Brolys, their maximum power output is a lot smaller, but my man Jaeger here does not have that problem. But most importantly, Jaeger gains one super crucial thing as well from Android 18, and that's of course her absolutely rat-looking jean jacket vest. And with this, he has now actually become the most punk rock Majin out there. And you know, sometimes it's just the small details like this which really make the difference. And for that very same reason, Jaeger's gonna make a quick pit stop to the local professional baseball game and quickly absorb Yamcha. But Yamcha isn't even pitching today. Rough stuff. I guess you're not getting absorbed this time around. Lucky him. But you know, none of these fodder characters are gonna be enough to actually take down the legendary fighters at the top of the Dragon Ball universe. In order to defeat someone like Goku, Jiren, Broly, or Frieza, we're going to really need to boost up his power by quite a lot still, which means it's time for him to absorb a couple of characters that will give him the passive ability to break the universe. In other words, it's time to absorb Trunks and Goten. Now, these poor high school kids are about to be absorbed by a weird gummy guy for the second time in their life already, but it's gonna be way worse this time around because unlike with Buu, nobody will come and defeat my man Majin Jaeger here. And so with his expert level disguise skills here, Jaeger is gonna infiltrate Blue Hell High School pretending to be an English literature professor. I mean, hey, don't be judgy. Just because he's a mystical demon created by dark wizards does not mean he can't appreciate the classics like Hamlet, The Great Gatsby, or To Kill a Mockingbird. And once he's now got these poor half Saiyans in his grasp as well, he'll gobble them up like a Thanksgiving turkey and gain the infinite potential of the Saiyans, as well as, well, you see, a lot of money, because Trunks, turns out, is filthy rich in this universe. Which honestly, he'll kind of need, because teachers are drastically underpaid, and by splitting time between his cop job and his teaching role, he's hardly making enough money to have a studio apartment in West City, so good on him for cashing in here as well. Okay, but back to the Saiyan body. The real reason he actually needed this power, of course, isn't to become a Super Saiyan or anything like that. After all, I don't think he technically can do that in his Majin form. So, no, the real benefit here of having Trunks and Goten is the unique Saiyan ability called a Zenkai boost. Now, this is a really powerful genetic power that the Saiyans have, which gives them a massive boost in strength whenever they have a near-death experience, which happens a lot. It's kind of why Goku and Vegeta unlock their Super Saiyan forms, and it's why everyone can just rebound back to crazy powerful after getting beaten to a pulp, basically. But unlike the prideful Saiyans, Jaeger and everyone he's absorbed so far isn't blinded by their own ego. And so what he's actually gonna do is go and abuse a loophole that just about every Dragon Ball fan has questioned themselves at some point, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna call it Zenkai farming, and it's kind of a filthy concept, honestly. Essentially, what Jaeger is gonna go do here is constantly bring himself to the brink of death, heal up, and then be way stronger. You know, he's just gonna go on, keep doing it until he's as strong as, I guess, he technically wants to be, but where is he gonna do that? Well, probably inside of a hyperbolic time chamber or a room of spirit and time if you prefer to be faithful to the source material. Hyperbolic time chamber is a cooler name though, I'm just saying. Now, these rooms literally break the laws of time and physics by kind of creating pocket dimensions where time is distorted and compressed. Long story short, time passes 365 times faster inside of that room, meaning that spending a full year inside this room is actually only spending 1 day in the outside world. Again, it's another complete cheating life hack to mid-arc training montages and is absolutely the secret to success in the world of Dragon Ball, no question about it. But before he can really start his grinding here, Jaeger is going to need to make a quick stop at Korin's tower and rob this weird little cat man of his magic beans. But Manu, how does he know about the magic beans? Huh? Well, there's a reason I had him absorb Krillin first. You see, Jaeger learned from Krillin's memories that he loves to toss these beans at people and realized that they would be perfect for his training as well. You see, Senzu beans let a character heal up to 100% good as new, and thanks to his mythical turn to food powers, Jaeger can now mass produce Senzu beans as long as he has something to shoot a laser beam at. And if you've been pretty lax about this guy so far, I think this is where his morals and ethics are actually gonna come into question for everyone. And so just so we're on the same page, let me make things really clear here. This guy is a villain. Like, what he does is really bad. There's no way around it. So unfortunately, to feed his mean bean machine, Jaeger is gonna go rob a pet store and turn a bunch of animals into beans. I'm sorry, that's just what he's gotta do to be the strongest. Don't blame me. He is the bad guy, literally. And after doing the most vile thing imaginable, Jaeger quickly texts his best friend to help him with his training. It's now time to introduce you to the angel in training and Jaeger's assistant, Vegas. And it's actually Vegas who taught Jaeger how to use his signature move, the Jaeger Bomb, basing it off of his ultimate move, the Vegas Bomb. So Jaeger now has the beans, the training partner, and now just needs the time chamber, and now I can reveal why it is so important that he's a god of destruction in training as well. I think it's perfect that Vegas is an angel with a magical staff because, as we learned from Whis in Dragon Ball Super, the angel staffs actually have a pocket dimension quite similar to the time chamber inside them as well. Which, you know what that means? It's now time to hop into the staff and get hit by a bunch of Vegas bombs. And so starting now for 5 years, aka 5 days in the real world, Jaeger is just gonna go continuously get nearly killed and then use the beans to heal himself up to max health. Wash, rinse, repeat, and now 5 days later we've got a truly god level fighter. But once he walks out, it's really game over. You see, during that time he perfected the Jaeger Bomb, and while training with Vegas, unlocked his true potential, God Key. Where normal fighters use their basic mortal life energy, our man Jaeger has trespassed into the domain of the gods. By bottling up his power and refining his own ki, he can now access this divine power that will allow him to fight the strongest fighters in the multiverse. He also learns to harness his powers of Hakai, the unique god of destruction energy that can erase things from existence. Hakai, by the way, in Japanese just literally means destruction. Something that we know is isn't limited to just the real gods, as Vegeta and Toppo both know how to use Hakai energy as well. And so with this delete button under his belt, Jaeger can eliminate energy blasts from other fighters and force them to expend a lot of energy to counteract his own destructive energy. However, before he can start attempting to battle it out with the strongest warriors across the multiverse, he needs to consume 2 final enemies on Earth. And so he now uses his aura sensing powers and admittedly the internet also to hunt down the infamous Spike the Devilman. Manu, who on earth is Spike, I hear you say? Well, he's a character from the original Dragon Ball pre-Piccolo era and works under fortune teller Baba. And most of you probably recognize her as the person who brings Goku and Frieza back to life in Z and Super, but well before that era of God Ki and aliens, Baba was crucial to Goku's development as well. Now, why in the world am I so focused on all of this? Well, Devilman, you see, has a very powerful attack that should make Jaeger one of the most powerful fighters ever to exist. And so with a magic laser beam to turn him into a lion's mane mushroom, Jaeger gains access to the Devil Might Beam as well. And also, I guess, some cool horns on his hat, because that devil persona is super edgy and cool looking, and we absolutely need to give it to him. Now, no discussion, more always looks better. You see, the Devil Might Beam, aka the Akumai Tolkosen, is very simple. It targets any evil in the heart and soul and then expands it until the target explodes. Devilman even specifically says that it will work even if you only have an ounce of hatred in your body, and so with this insane attack, Jaeger can kill anyone that isn't 100% pure of heart, which, as I'm sure you all realize, is everyone that's left except maybe Goku and Gohan. But Devilman isn't the only reason that Jaeger wanted to stop and visit fortune teller Baba, because her ability to revive someone for a day is crucial to his conquest as well. That's because he's going to force Baba into summoning a fighter whose insane magical abilities will make the rest of the universe bend to his will no matter what. Simply put, Jaeger is going to revive and devour Moro, the consumer of worlds, and suddenly Jaeger will become the literal goat of all of Dragon Ball. You see, this dark wizard goat alien man now has some truly insanely evil magic, including energy absorption, mind reading, barriers, and the power of several fighters that Jaeger hasn't absorbed quite yet. These characters are Piccolo, Gohan, Vegeta, and Maris. And so he learns some cool things like Masenko, Final Flash, and the Hell Zone grenade, but what's really crucial here is at the time that Moro consumed Vegeta, he had already learned the Force Spirit Fission technique and the instant transmission from his time on the alien planet Yardrat. And so now with all of these devastating abilities, Jaeger can undo fusion techniques and manipulate the energy of other people, meaning that even the truly godlike Gogeta or Vegito can now not be used against him. Oh, and he can teleport anywhere where he can sense ki now, basically, which is practically the entire universe. And you know what's even more crazy? That's far from the most broken technique that he has now learned from Moro, because thanks to the former Angel Miras, Moro has also the ability to use Ultra Instinct. Of course. And as you probably know, but let me explain it nonetheless, Ultra Instinct is realistically one of the all-time craziest abilities in Dragon Ball, allowing the user to move their body instantaneously to avoid damage and unleash truly destructive attacks. And so when combined with his Hakai powers, Jaeger is now basically an untouchable enemy with the power to erase characters from literal existence. He is the best of the best when it comes to his god level abilities. And so the time has now come for Jaeger to battle and consume everyone that's kind of left to consume, and all he needs is just the Dragon Balls in order to do it. How convenient. Luckily, a quick teleport over to Capsule Core and a threat to Bulma is kind of all that's necessary to get his hands on the Dragon Radar, a tool that can locate the 7 mythical Dragon Balls. Getting himself 3 wishes, he decides to burn the first one, getting himself some really dope looking sunglasses. I'm talking about those rave outfit shutter shades. Like, those things are really cool and complete his outfit, which is important. And after getting those bad boys here, he combines his 2 last wishes to summon the strongest fighters in Universe 7 to his own location. And thus, using the epic power of Shenron, the ultimate battle is now about to begin. And he really does consider eating Shenron as well, of course, but I'm pretty sure that would make his own existence dependent on the Dragon Balls, and that's kind of a little bit too big of a weakness for Jaeger to have, which he luckily realizes. And so, at last, assembled together are Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Broly, and the Emperor of the Universe, Frieza. And our boy here is gonna go pick them off one by one in order to consume all of them. Starting with the easiest to get, of course, Piccolo and Gohan. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, these two are beyond strong and broken. They just don't have the special abilities to dodge him at the godly speed of Jaeger. Suddenly, Jaeger turns a bright orange instead of his typical light blue, and his eyes go red. He has now gained the world-destroying powers of Beast and Orange Piccolo, transformations on par with Goku and Vegeta's Ultra Instinct and Ego forms as well. And so next up on the chopping block is Broly, as he's not properly trained and refined like the rest of the fighters here. And so with an instant teleportation and a sneaky Devil Might Beam, Jaeger chomps down on Broly as well. Now suddenly his body swells up as the immense power of Broly forces his body to grow and flex. And at this point, Goku and Vegeta realize they need to fuse quickly in order to defeat Jaeger, and so the legendary fusion warrior Gogeta rushes in to stomp down on Jaeger. But using now his Force Spirit Fission, he's able to separate Goku and Vegeta once again and eat them whole. He is now of course tapped into mastered Ultra Instinct and gained the absolutely terrifying power of Ultra Ego as well. Again, if you don't know, let me enlighten you. Ultra Ego is a god of destruction technique that makes the user stronger as they take damage. Now in practice, it's a Zenkai boost as the user fights, meaning with infinite regeneration, if a fight goes on longer than an instant, Jaeger will simply keep getting stronger. Fearful and angry, the now final remaining Universe 7 fighter unleashes his ultimate form, Black Freezer. At full speed, he attempts to land an assault of insanely powerful strikes, but unfortunately for him, Frieza is pure evil, and with a mixture of Hawkeye, Ultra Instinct, Force Spirit Fission, and the very broken Devil Might Beam, Black Frieza explodes in an instant. So Jaeger now quickly gobbles up the little bits of the refrigerator left around the battlefield, and his orange color quickly shifts to a nightmarish dark black and blue. It is now time for him to assume his new role as the god of destruction that he's always meant to be, but there is one last fighter in his way, a mortal whose power is stronger than that of the gods, a man with such an overwhelming presence it can shake the infinite void itself. Because yes, the final obstacle in his way is of course Jiren, who honestly needed to get jumped by all of Universe 7 in order to be defeated. Now his power is that of an actual god, so it makes sense that he's the final opponent for Jaeger as well. But let me quickly remind you what Jaeger has now going into this final fight. He has mastered Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, Beast, and the Orange Namekian transformation. On top of this, he's a Majin with insane magical abilities and absorbed the Dark Wizard Moro. With his Devil Might Beam, he can now delete anyone who has been evil or has some sort of evil in their heart, and can destroy universes with his immense ki and godly abilities, just something like Hawkeye and all the other stuff. And so now, with his ultimate move, the double Hawkeye Jaeger Bomb, our god of destruction obliterates the strongest warrior in the multiverse, officially becoming the most devastating god in Dragon Ball history. And I mean, it's not even close, man. Like, this gray alien dude couldn't hold a candle to the combined powers of Frieza, Goku, Broly, and every other insane fighter in Universe 7. So how is he supposed to face off against the ultimate being, Jaeger? I mean, he was destined to lose the moment I wrote this very script. But does Jaeger have what it takes to take down the reigning champion? The dude who simply breaks fiction itself? My ultimate anime character, Main Hero? Or What about the true god of shinobi, the ultimate Naruto character, Karuto? Well, those two videos are linked right here, and if you enjoyed watching Jaeger take over the Dragon Ball multiverse, I think you will love these two videos as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, all those things. They're annoying, but they do help out, and please let me know what your ultimate Dragon Ball character would look like if you would do anything different. Let me know below. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.